Here's something a lot of snobs in Fredericton know, but not most ordinary folks. My father was Max Amos. When Louis Robichaud centralized the government, my family was forced to move from Westmoreland County, Dorchester, the Shire town to be exact, to Fat Fred City. Had to do so because Louis had promised all the top bureaucrats of the county systems jobs within his new provincial form of government, equal opportunity and all that. My old man was county administrator of Westmoreland County, and he loved his job. We loved where we lived, we loved our home, we loved our friends. However, he had 7 children, and you got to feed the kids. Because my old man was once a tax collector and he was pretty good with a pencil, he was given the job of tax supervisor for the province of New Brunswick, and he kept that job till the day he died. It was not a political appointee post. He was beneath the deputy minister, and even up until the day he died, I never knew my old man's politics until my mother married a conservative, Lloyd Nickerson, and he did run for public office as well. All that said, a lot of people tease me about my father and my brother. Now, my brother Brian, he died 15 years ago, very close to the Ides of March, which is the day I'm recording this, and probably will post it on the web for Jack McDougall's benefit of the Green Party, because Jack don't know jack shit. Now, I heard him letting some stuff out of the bag to that idiot Charles LeBlanc, and it's true. But it seems that Frank McKenna should be aware of the Ides of March, because it looks like his buddy is kind of stabbing him in the back. A2 Brute, commonly known as Jack McDougall. Anyway, I hear a lawyer today, John Logan, and I've talked to his office. In fact, I talked to his office I think it was November the 1st, 2006, as Porcupine Prick, a Fed with a black hole IP, was inviting me to sue the Crown and teasing me about what Steve McKinnon had to say about the boys being back in town. And it seems to me Steve McKinnon is now with that outfit that is promoting the sale of MB Power, if my memory serves me correctly, but I bet you Jack McDougall will be quick to affirm it if he has the balls to do so. All that said, my brother, who drowned on the Ides of March, or very close, was one of the youngest bank managers the Bank of Nova Scotia ever had. In his last position, he was planning to retire just as he drowned. He was on King Street in charge of commercial loans. Today of all days, I hear this lawyer, John Logan, who knows every lawyer in the province of New Brunswick, as do I. It's kind of funny, people have mistaken me lately for David R. Ames, the new president of the Law Society, so I called him and ripped him a new arsehole just for shits and giggles a couple of months ago. Anyway, my brother Brian was a very honest man, just like our father. My father, I remember him sending the sheriff down to put the chains on the Irvin refinery's gates to make him pay his taxes. Old KC didn't like my old man, and I kind of inherited my lack of fondness for the monopoly in New Brunswick. My brother Brian, as a banker, hated my style of business because I thought outside the box, but although we were brothers, we fought tooth and nails, but we loved each other dearly. My brother inherited my father's attributes of being a very pleasant character, and he was good with the pencil, and he was very ethical, just like our father. My brother is much missed. Now, as I hear this Logan character say that the province of New Brunswick is probably going to pay the Bank of Nova Scotia $55 million. But I hear all the talk about a new deal was made after the fact when a loan was negotiated, and it sounds like the province of New Brunswick's lawyers weren't very sharp to let the bank do an end run around them, but they're going to pay them the $55 million anyway. But I still think the bank remains gets first kick at the can with the rest of the assets before the province gets their share. I could be wrong on that. Quite simply don't care. Here's the point I'm trying to make as far as the Bank of Nova Scotia goes. Everybody knows that I came home and ran for Parliament because of my evidence of bank fraud, tax fraud, securities fraud, and murder, and that I caused hearings at the U.S. Senate Banking Committee in Washington that have since disappeared. Frank McKenna certainly knows it. I've received answers from many of his associates, and now he's with the TD Bank. But the Bank of Nova Scotia has a lawyer by the name of Deborah Alexandra. Now, Frank McKenna was on the board of directors of the BMO. This is in 2004 as I ran against the former parliamentary secretary for the Minister of Justice, the aptly named lawyer Rob Moore. I'd followed two lawyers and their doings as far as money goes. One was Brian Mulrooney. He was connected here, there, and everywhere with Forbes and all the banks, and Senate Corporation, who was involved with selling my wife's beach house. And then we have E-Trade Bank, who were involved in a very fraudulent real estate transaction, and I properly notified them, and the title insurance companies who have been suing the Law Society to operate in Canada, First American Title and Fidelity. Fidelity sold title insurance on both of these illegal sales, full well knowing that the documents had been forged. My wife's signature had been forged, my signature had been forged. The estates were, the homes were illegally sold within estates that have yet to be closed, in which I already proved tax fraud, and bank fraud, and securities fraud. But anyway, E-Trade Bank was so greedy, they were quick to give the loan, and everybody signed up pursuant to Title 18, Section 101, 10 years in jail. However, the only fellow to go to jail is yours truly, the whistleblower. But long before I went to jail, I came home and ran for Parliament, back to the Bank of Nova Scotia. Because of my brother and his association with the bank, and me knowing certain people in the bank, some of them relatives, I decided that I would give the Bank of Nova Scotia first kick at the can to embarrass all the other malevolent bankers, Yankee bankers. Frank McKenna, obviously I didn't trust, so I threw them, the Bank of Nova Scotia, in the same mud puddle as the Bank of Montreal, showed them what a bad fellow Frank McKenna was, Bank of Montreal, and figured I'd put a feather in the cap of my brother's old bank. Deborah Alexandra, I talked to her office. I served in hand to the bank manager of Nova Scotia in front of many witnesses, a pile of documents, went back to the States and found myself falsely imprisoned. Department of Foreign Affairs visited me in that American jail where I was being held under the charges of other, with no bail, while a lawyer who I had just embarrassed in court went forward again to sell my wife's home. That home was financed by the E-Trade Bank. A couple of years ago, the Bank of Nova Scotia bought E-Trade Bank's holdings in Canada. Deborah Alexandra has got a bunch of problems, but they all zero in around me. And my first two lawsuits, by the way, bottom line was $750 million. This $55 million is chump change. Jack McDougall should pay attention to that statement. I have every right to sue the Bank of Nova Scotia. John Logan, if you bother to surf my blogs, you will see where he and I crossed paths many years ago, as well as Jeff Mockler, Brad Green, Kelly Landrock, TJ Burke, Mike Murphy. I can't think of a lawyer in New Brunswick I haven't butted heads with. Jack McDougall, you think your Green Party and all your strange friends like Bethany Dykstra and everybody are going to make inroads and get some seats. And I hope that you do. But you first got to prove your ethics to me first, Jackie boy. Now you know something about ATCOM, the Bank of Nova Scotia, and John Logan. Let's see you run with it. How's that, Jackie boy?
Thank you. Here endeth the lesson.